Verity by Colleen Hoover. This is a review. Let's get right into it. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Julian. For those of you who do know me, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to review what I think may be one of the best thriller books of our generation, and I know it's a bold statement, but I personally think that this book is amazing. It's so amazing. I've made countless TikToks and Reels about it, and I even posted my own fan cast, which I'm going to show you later on in the video. Look, in my opinion, this book is so good, it pulled me out of the reading slump I was in, and it even divided an entire fandom between two teams. Team Manuscript and Team Letter, which we'll get into later in the video. Now, you know how it goes. I'm gonna break this review down into 4 parts. First, I'll give you an overview of the book along with my reaction. Second, we'll talk characters. Third, themes. And fourth, would I recommend this book? Now, at this point and on, there will be spoilers. So if you have not read the book yet, I'd stop the video here, read it, and then come back to this part of the video. First, the overview. So here's the premise of Verity. Lowen is a struggling writer who gets offered the job of a lifetime. She's supposed to finish the best-selling book series of this really famous author in the book named Verity Crawford, who we find out isn't in a position to finish the series herself. Verity's health has deteriorated, so Lowen moves into Verity's house to go through Verity's notes. But first plot twist of the book, Lowen stumbles upon an unfinished manuscript, which is Verity's autobiography, and we discover this side of Verity the public has never seen through the manuscript. So here's the thing about this book, it's creepy. Like, I'm talking you're up at 2 a.m. and you're wondering if you locked the doors type of creepy. Or even turn off the lights and sprint up the stairs because you don't know who's behind you type of creepy. And that's partially because the vibe in Verity's house is really eerie. The dynamic between Lowen, Verity, and Verity's husband, Jeremy, is tense. And the manuscript is messed up. Like, every page had me questioning, what is happening? Did she really write that? So as Lowen continues working for Verity, if you want to call digging through Verity's personal belongings and hooking up with her husband working, Lowen starts to develop somewhat of a relationship with Jeremy, Verity's husband. Like, I get the whole protective husband thing, but sometimes I wanted to shake Lowen and be like, are you sure about this? Look, Jeremy's a charming guy, but there's this underlying something about him is just off. The guy is sus. Maybe it's just me, but I couldn't fully trust him from the beginning of the book till the end. And even at the end, I still didn't really trust him. What makes this book so good is how it messes with your head. It just sounds weird, but I like having my head messed with. The whole time you're asking yourself, is Verity this evil mastermind or is she misunderstood? Is Lowen unraveling the truth or is she just unraveling in general? By the end, you don't know who to believe, and honestly, I still find myself thinking about this book to this day. And then the ending, don't even get me started. There was action, spice, and it was confusing as hell, but in the most exciting way possible. It was a mic drop. Like, literally, Colleen dropped the mic and walked away. That's what the last chapter of this book was. It's a type of ending that makes you sit there in silence, staring at a blank wall, asking what just happened. It's unsettling, but in the best way. I don't even know if I'm making sense right now. It's good, trust me. Now it's time to address the elephant in the room. Team Letter or Team Manuscript. Real quick, I'm gonna do something pretty unique here where I lay out both teams and what they stand for before I tell you which team I'm on. First, Team Manuscript. Okay, if you're on Team Manuscript, you probably believe Verity was as evil as she seemed, and honestly, the manuscript is all the proof you need. Look, Verity comes across as selfish, heartless, and just downright dangerous, especially with how she describes her hatred of Harper, her own daughter. And let's not forget, a lot of what's in the manuscript matches up with the tragedies in her real life. So it's hard to believe someone could make up that kind of darkness and then live it out by coincidence. So if you're on this team, Team Manuscript, the manuscript is basically gonna be your open and shut case. Like, Verity was a monster and her own words prove it. I believe that's probably what Team Manuscript thinks. Now for Team Letter. Verity's letter that Lowen finds at the end of the novel totally flips the script, making it sound like the manuscript was just a big twisted writing experiment. At one point, Verity literally says in the letter that it was a writing exercise and a way for her to get into the mind of a villain for her own novels, which is pretty convincing. It's a pretty convincing explanation, especially if you think about how intense some authors get when creating characters. I'm guilty of that too sometimes. And about Jeremy, if Verity was innocent, then his actions become super shady, like maybe he was the real villain all along. If you're on Team Letter, you probably feel like Verity got caught up in a giant misunderstanding, and the letter is her desperate attempt to set the record straight before Jeremy kills her. Now, which team am I? Team Manuscript. But I wasn't dead set on Team Manuscript at first. The stuff Verity wrote about in that manuscript was just way too dark and specific to brush it off as fiction. I could understand how you could say some of the things that she said, like I'm an author myself. If I write a psychopath, it doesn't mean that I'm a psychopath, right? Regardless, she's a mother. I feel like she wouldn't make up that stuff just for fun. And honestly, a lot of what she wrote matches up with what actually happened in her life. So how am I supposed to believe it's all fake? Plus, her whole vibe in the house was creepy. If you're innocent, why are you being creepy? I don't know, I'm getting upset, I'm getting worked up over this. But yeah, the manuscript felt like her unfiltered truth, no matter how hard Verity tried to spin it in that letter at the end. Now let's talk characters. I actually put together some images of real people who I imagined as characters in Verity. And I'm gonna do something fun here where I show you how I imagined them. Disclaimer, you may not have imagined the characters this way, and that's okay. This is how I imagine them. You ready? We have Lowen, Verity Crawford, Jeremy Crawford, their twin daughters Harper and Chasten, their son Crew. Alright, now that we got that out of the way, let's go into a little bit more depth on the main characters. Lowen's basically your typical struggling writer who gets thrown into the most insane situation ever. She starts off super awkward and kind of shy, but as she digs deeper into Verity's life, you can see this darker, almost obsessive side of her come out. I mean, she's in this house reading all this horrifying stuff, and instead of running for the hills, she sticks around. And she gets a little too close to Jeremy. She's so smart and curious, but honestly, she's kind of reckless. Verity is, wow. She's either the most diabolical, manipulative person, or the unluckiest, most misunderstood woman on the planet. On the surface, she's this beautiful, successful author who's suffered a horrible accident and can't communicate. But that manuscript paints her as straight up evil. She's cold, calculated, and let's be real, she's terrifying. Even when she's just lying there in bed, she gives off major villain in a horror movie energy. No offense to Rosamund Pike. She kind of gives off the same energy. Or she can, if she wanted to. I don't know what she's like off the camera. Jeremy is this charming, protective husband who seems like the perfect guy until you start digging deeper. At first, you feel for him. You feel pretty bad that he's lost so much and he's just trying to hold his family together. But then little cracks start to show and you realize there's more to him than meets the eye. That he's intense, he's emotional, and honestly, he's kind of sketchy. You never really know what his true intentions are, which makes him fascinating but also a little scary. Now onto themes. 3 themes really stood out to me in Verity and are crucial to the story and the character arcs, in my opinion. First, we have truth versus perception. The whole story revolves around what's real and what's not. So is Verity's manuscript the truth, or is it just a twisted exercise in fiction? Is the letter her genuine attempt to explain herself, or another form of manipulation? The book constantly makes you question how much of what you're seeing or reading can be trusted, and it shows how perception can shape what we believe is true or not. The second theme I picked up on is obsession. Lowen's growing obsession with Verity's manuscript and her involvement with Jeremy sort of highlight how far people can go when desire and curiosity take over. It also raises a big question about morality, in a sense. Like, is it ever okay to invade someone's privacy or even hurt them if you think they're dangerous? Obsession makes you do a lot of crazy things, and I feel like that's something that sort of bleeds into your moral compass, and that's what we see with Lowen and Verity. Third theme, love and control. The book explores how love can be both nurturing and destructive. Jeremy's love for his family feels genuine at first, but as you learn more about him, you see how love can turn into control and even violence. Verity's version of love is twisted too, don't get me wrong, especially in how she views her kids and her relationship with Jeremy. The two are just crazy and pretty perfect for each other. Alright, now would I recommend this book? If you are into fast-paced, chilling thriller novels that will keep you on your toes, this is the book for you. While Colleen Hoover is known for her romance novels, she absolutely killed it with this thriller. Something is always happening in the book, whether it's a spicy scene, action, or disturbing prose or dialogue, and there aren't any filler chapters. This is honestly usually the first book I recommend to people if they want to read something other than romance, and I think anyone who has read it will agree. So I definitely recommend this book if you're into thrillers and just want to go on a ride or experience a roller coaster of emotions. If you got this far in the video, I ask that you give this video a like or subscribe if you want to see more content from me. Also, if you're looking for a current read, I'm the author of 3 books that I highly recommend reading. The first is Night After Night, the epic party novel about an up-and-coming nightclub promoter who gets exposed to the Hollywood party scene. The second is Right My Wrongs, a rock star romance about 2 songwriters who fall in love through the songs they write together. And the third is Look Away, a psych thriller novel about a TV show that manipulates people into taking their own lives on stage. Also, big news, I just announced the release of my brand new romance novel titled Someday Soon, which is set to release in the coming months. So that's my review. Make sure to comment your thoughts on Verity or leave a book recommendation. Thanks for watching.